We saw the dollar losing some ground at the end of last week. The dollar continues to lose some ground today. I mean, maybe there's a link to the geopolitics, or maybe there isn't. We'll talk more about the euro, but just thinking about these latest headlines around geopolitics, around the war in Ukraine, is that something that you're watching to see reflected in the dollar? Is that something that should impact FX markets?
Well, it is at the moment, for sure. I mean, we've kind of, coming into the fourth quarter, we've had it's kind of a variety of very severe sort of geopolitical risks, from Taiwan to what's happening in Ukraine, and without a doubt that's given the dollar kind of I would say a decent safe haven bid. And as events on the ground change, certainly that that's reflected in pricing somewhat. And particularly on Friday, we did see a big reversal in the dollar due to one of the comments from the BOJ vis-a-vis intervention, and then also vis-a-vis the ECB's sort of pretty hawkish rhetoric. So it could be the beginning of a more pronounced move, and certainly in my view we're pretty much close to peak dollar valuations in this cycle for sure.
Okay, and thinking about the comments we got from the BOJ, or at least Japanese officials, those comments seem to come pretty regularly now. And actually we've seen from a number of other jurisdictions, policymakers speaking out saying that the weakness in their currencies, the strength in the dollar has been damaging. But we don't seem to hear from the US on that front. Is there anything that would make the US step in and add to the verbal intervention?
I think we're seeing certainly central banks complaining about the strength of the dollar, and due to effectively the strong dollar is basically exporting inflation to the rest of the world. From the US perspective, that's been good because it's kept it's prevented their own inflationary pressures from spiraling even further. However, it is creating certainly a problem for corporates, right? And you're starting to see several corporates revising down their earnings profile for this year and indeed possibly for next. So it's definitely starting to have a problem. And certainly, if we look at the dollar from a macroeconomic setup, the huge current account deficit, again, that's a reflection of the dollar's, I would say, complete overvaluation.
Okay.
So that's going to be a problem for it for sure.